What happens when one of music's biggest legends walks onto a morning talk show expecting respect and walks off in fury? In just 34 seconds of cutting remarks, a beloved host reveals a side of herself that shocks millions of viewers and destroys what should have been a simple interview. This is the story of how Lorraine Kelly turned a friendly chat into a battlefield. Rod Stewart sits down on the bright orange sofa, his signature spiky hair perfectly styled, wearing a sharp suit that shows he's taken this appearance seriously. The studio lights are warm, the audience is ready, and everything seems set for another pleasant morning chat. Lorraine Kelly smiles that famous smile of hers, the one that's welcomed hundreds of celebrities over the years. But something feels different today. There's an edge to her expression that the cameras haven't quite caught yet. Rod Stewart, welcome to the show. Lorraine begins, and her voice has that sugary quality that sounds friendly but feels hollow. Or should I say, welcome back to relevance? The audience goes quiet. Rod's smile falters for just a moment. He's been in the industry for over 5 decades. He's sold over 100 million records worldwide. He's a knight, and this is how she opens? "I'm sorry," Rod says, his Scottish accent thick with confusion. "I don't think I ever left, love." Lorraine laughs, but it's not a warm laugh. It's the kind of laugh that cuts. "Oh, come on, Rod. Let's be honest with the viewers at home. Your last album barely made a dent. The charts have moved on. Music has evolved. Don't you think it's time to accept that your moment has passed?" Rod shifts in his seat. He came here to talk about his new tour, about his music, about his life. He didn't come here to be torn down on national television. "My last album went platinum," he says calmly, trying to keep his composure. "I've got a tour selling out arenas across the country. I think the fans would disagree with you." "The fans?" Lorraine repeats, and there's mockery in her tone. "You mean the pensioners who can't let go of the 70s? Rod, darling, when was the last time someone under 30 knew who you were without Googling you?" The audience is completely silent now. This isn't banter. This isn't the playful teasing that morning shows are known for. This is an attack, plain and simple. Rod's jaw tightens. His hands grip the arms of the sofa. "I've got fans of all ages," Rod says, and his voice is steady, but you can hear the anger building underneath. "I was just at a festival with 50,000 people singing every word. Young people, old people, everyone in between. Music doesn't have an expiration date, Lorraine. Doesn't it though?" Lorraine leans forward and her eyes have this gleam in them like she's enjoying this, like she's planned every word. "I mean, look at you. You're what, 78? 79? Still wearing those tight trousers, still doing that little strut across the stage. Don't you think it's a bit sad? A bit desperate?" Rod's face flushes red. "I'm 79 years old, and I'm still performing because I love it, because people want to see me. There's nothing sad about doing what you're passionate about." "Passionate," Lorraine says with air quotes, actually making the gesture with her fingers. "Is that what we're calling it? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like someone who can't accept that their time is up. You're clinging to fame like a life raft, Rod. It's uncomfortable to watch." "That's out of order," Rod says, and his voice rises now. The calm is cracking. "You invited me here. I came in good faith. And you're sitting there insulting me, insulting my career, insulting my fans. What's this about, Lorraine? What have I ever done to you?" Lorraine sits back, crossing her legs, looking entirely too pleased with herself. "Oh, don't be so sensitive. I'm just asking the questions everyone else is thinking. Someone has to have the courage to tell you the truth." "The truth?" Rod's voice is loud now, echoing through the studio. "The truth is, I've had a career most people can only dream of. The truth is, I'm still selling out shows while other people are sitting behind desks, judging people they could never measure up to. You want to talk about relevance? When's the last time you did anything that mattered?" The audience gasps. Lorraine's face changes. The smugness drains away and is replaced by something uglier. Anger. Real anger. "How dare you?" Lorraine snaps. "I've been on television for over 30 years. I've built a career on connecting with people, on being authentic, on being real, something you wouldn't know anything about with your dyed hair and your fake tan and your manufactured image." "Manufactured?" Rod stands up now, pulling the microphone off his lapel. "You've been manufacturing this whole interview. This was a setup from the start. You brought me here to humiliate me, to make yourself look clever at my expense." "Well, congratulations, Lorraine. You've shown everyone watching exactly what kind of person you are." "Sit down, Rod," Lorraine says, but her voice wavers. She's losing control of the situation and she knows it. "We're not finished." "Oh, we're finished," Rod says, dropping the microphone on the sofa. I'm not sitting here while you take cheap shots. I've given decades to this industry. I've earned my place. And I don't need to justify myself to someone who thinks tearing people down is entertainment. Lorraine stands up too, trying to regain authority. You're being ridiculous. This is live television. You can't just walk off. Watch me, Rod says, and he turns toward the exit. The cameras are still rolling, capturing every second of this disaster. Fine, Lorraine shouts after him, and her voice is shrill now, desperate. Run away like you always do. Run back to your bubble where everyone tells you how wonderful you are. But the rest of us live in reality, Rod. And in reality, you're a has-been clinging to glory days that are long gone. Rod stops. He turns around slowly. When he speaks, his voice is quiet, but it carries through the entire studio. You know what's sad, Lorraine? It's not that I'm still performing at 79. It's that you're so miserable with your own life that you have to tear down someone else to feel important. I feel sorry for you. I really do. And with that, he walks off the set. Just walks right off. The stage manager is frozen, not knowing what to do. The cameras keep rolling because nobody has told them to stop. Lorraine stands there alone on her set, her mouth opening and closing like she wants to say something but can't find the words. Well, she finally says, trying to laugh it off, but it comes out wrong. I suppose that's one way to avoid tough questions. But the damage is done. The audience sits in stunned silence. Nobody's buying her attempt to spin this. They all saw what happened. They all watched her attack a guest for no reason. Watched her try to humiliate a music legend on live television. Behind the scenes, the producers are panicking. The phones are already ringing. Social media is exploding. This is going to be everywhere within minutes, and not in a good way. Back on set, Lorraine tries to continue. Let's take a quick break, she says to the camera, but her hands are shaking. She's rattled. She thought she was being provocative, edgy, brave. She thought she was calling out someone who needed to be challenged. But she miscalculated badly. Rod Stewart didn't need to be challenged. He didn't come on the show with an inflated ego or outrageous demands. He came as a professional, ready to talk about his work, ready to share stories with the viewers. He came in good faith, and Lorraine treated him like a punching bag. The thing about Rod Stewart is that he's been famous since before Lorraine was born. He's dealt with real criticism, real challenges, real controversies. He's been through divorces, battles with record labels, health scares, media storms. He's survived it all because he's genuine. Because underneath the rock star persona is someone who actually loves what he does and respects his fan. So when Lorraine came at him with her prepared attack, expecting him to wilt or play along, she didn't realize who she was dealing with. Rod Stewart didn't become a legend by backing down. He didn't sell millions of records by letting people walk over him. He's got a spine made of steel and a confidence that comes from 50-plus years of proving himself. Lorraine, on the other hand, seemed to think her position as a morning show host gave her the right to say whatever she wanted. She forgot that respect is earned, not demanded. She forgot that her job is to make guests feel welcome, to bring out their stories, to create moments that viewers enjoy. Instead, she created a moment that viewers will remember for all the wrong reasons. The break ends, and Lorraine comes back on screen. Her makeup has been touched up, but she looks shaken. Apologies for that, she says, trying to sound breezy. Some people just can't handle honest conversation, but let's move on to our next guest. Honest conversation. That's what she's calling it. As if there was anything honest about her attack. As if ambushing someone with insults and mockery counts as journalism. The viewers at home aren't buying it. They're already switching off, tuning out, making their feelings known. What Lorraine doesn't realize yet is that this moment is going to define her. Not the 30 years of good interviews, not the charity work or the warm moments or the time she got it right. This is what people will remember. This is the clip that will be replayed over and over. Rod Stewart walking off her show because she crossed a line that should never have been crossed. In the dressing room, Rod is already gathering his things. His manager is on the phone, fielding calls from media outlets wanting a statement. Rod waves him off. I'm not saying anything else, he tells his manager. What happened out there speaks for itself. People saw it. They'll make up their own minds. And he's right. They will make up their own minds. And overwhelmingly, they're on Rod's side. Because everyone watching saw what happened. They saw a host who thought she could boost her own profile by tearing down a guest. They saw someone who mistook cruelty for courage. They saw Lorraine Kelly reveal a side of herself that nobody wanted to see. The interview was supposed to last 15 minutes. It lasted barely 5 before imploding. 5 minutes that will be dissected and analyzed for days, weeks, maybe even years to come. 5 minutes that prove what happens when you forget the basic rule of hospitality, which is to treat your guests with respect. Rod leaves the building without looking back. Outside, fans who heard what happened are already gathering, shouting support. "We love you, Rod," they call out. "You're a legend." He waves at them, manages a smile, and gets into his car. Back in the studio, the show continues, but it's hollow. Every segment feels forced. Lorraine's smile looks painted on. The energy in the room has died. Everyone knows this show is over in more ways than one. The rest of the segments don't matter. This morning will be remembered for one thing only: the moment Lorraine Kelly destroyed her own reputation in 34 seconds of cutting remarks. The questions pile up fast. Why did she do it? Was it planned? Did she think Rod would just take it? Did she believe viewers would side with her? Was this some misguided attempt to seem tough? To prove she could take on anyone? Or was it something more personal? Some grudge nobody knew about? None of the answers matter now. What matters is what everyone saw. A talk show host who forgot her role. A celebrity who maintained his dignity under attack. A walkout that was completely justified, and a reminder that respect isn't optional just because you're on your own show. Lorraine tried to make Rod Stewart look small. Instead, she made him look dignified. She tried to paint him as desperate and past his prime. Instead, she showed everyone that he's still got fire, still got self-respect, still knows when to walk away from toxicity. She wanted to create a viral moment. She got one, just not the way she intended. The irony is thick. Lorraine accused Rod of clinging to relevance when she was the one so desperate for attention that she'd sacrifice basic decency to get it. She called him desperate while displaying the most desperate behavior of all, attacking someone to make herself feel bigger. Rod Stewart has nothing to prove. His legacy is secure. His place in music history is guaranteed. Whether Lorraine Kelly likes it or not, people will be listening to Maggie May and You're in My Heart and Sailing long after her show is forgotten. His songs are the soundtrack to millions of lives. His voice is instantly recognizable across generations. That's not clinging to relevance. That's being timeless. What Lorraine failed to understand is that there's a difference between asking tough questions and being cruel. Journalists can challenge their guests without demeaning them. They can probe without being disrespectful. They can create compelling television without sacrificing kindness. The best interviewers know how to push boundaries while maintaining basic human decency. Lorraine crossed that line. She didn't just cross it. She sprinted past it and kept going. She forgot that the person sitting across from her isn't just content for her show. He's a human being with feelings, with a life's work, with dignity that deserves protection. She treated him like a prop in her attempt to seem edgy and relevant. The saddest part is that it didn't have to be this way. Rod Stewart has incredible stories to tell. 5 decades in music means 5 decades of anecdotes, lessons, triumphs, and challenges. He's worked with everyone from Jeff Beck to Tina Turner. He's navigated changing trends while staying true to himself. He's raised a family in the spotlight. There was so much rich material to explore. Instead, Lorraine chose confrontation. She chose mockery. She chose an approach that guaranteed conflict rather than connection, and in doing so, she robbed her viewers of what could have been a fascinating conversation with a music icon. The show ends. The credits roll. Behind the scenes, there's chaos. Producers are in emergency meetings. Publicists are drafting statements. Social media managers are watching in horror as the clip spreads like wildfire. Everyone knows this is a disaster. Everyone knows heads will roll. But none of that can undo what happened. You can't unsay words once they're spoken, especially on live television. You can't take back disrespect once it's been displayed. The damage is permanent. For Rod Stewart, this will become another story in his long career, another moment where he stood up for himself, another example of his refusal to be treated poorly. His fans will love him even more for walking out. They'll admire his backbone. They'll respect that he values himself enough to leave rather than endure abuse. For Lorraine Kelly, this will be something else entirely. This will be a stain, a moment of poor judgment that overshadows good work, a reminder that reputation is fragile and can be damaged in seconds. This will be the clip played whenever someone questions her interviewing style. This will be the example cited when discussing how not to treat guests. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Rod Stewart, the supposed has-been, showed class under pressure. Lorraine Kelly, the experienced professional, showed none. The rock star acted like a gentleman. The morning show host acted like a bully. The person being attacked maintained composure. The person doing the attacking lost all control, and that's what makes this story so compelling. It's a role reversal. It's an upset. It's the moment when everything we expected to happen didn't happen. We expected a light, fun interview. We got a confrontation. We expected the host to be welcoming. She was hostile. We expected the guest to promote his work graciously. Instead, he had to defend his entire existence. The phones at the studio haven't stopped ringing. Viewers are calling to complain. Sponsors are asking questions. The network is doing damage control. Everyone wants to know how this happened. How did a simple interview turn into such a spectacle? The answer is simple, and it's complicated. Simple because Lorraine made a choice to be disrespectful. Complicated because understanding why she made that choice requires looking at ego, insecurity, pressure, and the toxic culture that sometimes rewards controversy over quality. But those are explanations, not excuses. At the end of the day, Lorraine Kelly sat across from Rod Stewart and chose cruelty. She chose to belittle his achievements. She chose to mock his age. She chose to question his relevance. And when he stood up for himself, she doubled down. That's on her, fully and completely. Rod Stewart didn't storm off because he's difficult. He didn't leave because he can't handle criticism. He walked out because he recognized disrespect and refused to participate in it. That's not ego. That's self-worth. And there's a profound difference between the two. This moment teaches us something important about boundaries, about knowing when to walk away, about refusing to let others diminish you. Rod could have stayed. He could have tried to laugh it off or fight back or defend himself, but he chose the most powerful response of all, removing himself from a toxic situation. Lorraine wanted to create a moment. She created one, just not the triumphant moment she imagined. She created a cautionary tale, a lesson in what happens when you let your need for attention override your judgment. She created a permanent record of her own worst instincts on display. The studio empties out. The crew packs up equipment. The audience files out, buzzing with excitement about what they witnessed. They'll tell this story for years. They'll describe how the atmosphere changed, how uncomfortable it got, how satisfying it was when Rod stood up and walked away. This story will live on because it's real. It's not manufactured drama or scripted conflict. It's a genuine moment where someone said enough is enough, where dignity won over ratings, where respect mattered more than staying for the cameras. Rod Stewart gets in his car and drives away from the studio. He's got a tour to prepare for, fans to see, music to play. This interview will be a blip in his remarkable career. An unfortunate moment, but not a defining one. He'll continue doing what he's always done, performing for people who love his music. Lorraine Kelly stays behind, dealing with the fallout. Her team scrambles. Her producers stress. Her reputation takes hit after hit as the clip spreads and the reactions pour in. This will be a defining moment for her. This will be what people remember. And unlike Rod, she can't just walk away from it. The lesson here is clear. Treat people with respect. Honor your guests. Remember that kindness isn't weakness and cruelty isn't strength. Understand that your platform is a privilege, not a weapon. Know that how you treat others reveals everything about who you really are. Rod Stewart knew his worth. That's why he could walk away. Lorraine Kelly forgot hers. That's why she lashed out. And in those choices, everything was revealed.